Let's talk about the title of the album, Battle at Garden's Gate. How did you come up with that? I read something like you guys want to do kind of like biblical church vibes going on.
I still think there's probably some big biblical elements to the title, but I had come up with the thing about midway through the process of recording this album. We had laid enough groundwork that there was some context, and so to me, it was sort of like, and then of course after we had the title, we were able to make a lot more other decisions artistically beyond that. But the way I see it, it was sort of the natural world, or what remains of the natural world. The conflict is what threatens that sort of thing. So then there's kind of, again, that's maybe sort of this Adam and Eve, Garden of Eden, whatever kind of thing. But I don't see it as that ancient, obviously, anyway. But it exists within this world, I guess. This kind of Greta Van Fleet universe is sort of, this album is sort of an extension of the previous album, Anthem of the Peaceful Army, in so many ways. But it's interesting. There's a lot of interweaving tapestry making up this sort of fabric.
Awesome. When we're out of new music here on the Wolf, like most artists are making 3.5 minute songs, but you guys, Heat Above, Broken Bells, Barbarians over 5 minutes, Weight of Dreams 8 minutes and 51. You don't see that. Age of Machine 7 minutes. Did you guys want to make lengthy songs, kind of go into like a musical journey? Was that like something that you guys are set out to do, or you're like, no, we got to make a 3.5 minute song?
We always try to kind of be concise.
Yeah, Age of Machine used to be like 15 minutes until we cut it down.
Yes. So yeah, it's a lot of, I think, just playing around and exploring and just sort of making kind of the music in this very organic, natural way. And then of course we have to kind of go in and trim the fat a bit sometimes, but of course live, that's a very different scenario.
We don't have to trim.
We'll just go off for however long.
People are like,
yeah, the end sort of like, right.
But no, I think it's very necessary. I think that we have a lot to say, and I think there's quite a vast story to tell through that journey. Also, we want to get you guys to play 9-minute songs over the airwaves. So,
hey, it's great for us. Like the DJs get like a 9-minute break to go to the bathroom. We can go grab a drink. It's fantastic.
Do some speed. Have a cigarette.
Hey, whatever we're into, for sure.
Play some baseball in the office.
I got 2 brothers myself here, and I couldn't even imagine being like, don't get me wrong, I love my brothers. I love them. But I would be bickering with them 24. Can imagine like staying in a hotel with them and like grown up adults. How does that work? The dynamic of writing, touring, producing together. There's got to be some spats, right?
Oh yeah, certainly, yeah. For the most part, we get along quite well, and I mean, we do see each other often enough, but obviously there's different hotel rooms, and then of course you're like the venues get bigger and bigger, so everybody's kind of like spread out a bit from time to time, and it's just like sort of you have enough space. But of course, when you're in the recording studio or something, that's when the shit hits the fan. Yeah. That's when you have the artistic differences that seem to create friction.
Because when you have 4 very kind of strong-minded people who see the same thing in a different way, things can get kind of ugly.
4 chiefs.
Yeah.
Too many chefs in the kitchen sometimes. I get it. I picture Greta Van Fleet writing somewhere cool. Like, am I wrong? Or are you guys just sitting at a desk or in a...
No, we always write somewhere cool. Usually the Appalachias or maybe Florida Keys.
Yeah, it's been kind of eclectic, but I mean, mostly we just try to get outside of the busy cities, and I mean, because on tour, that's where you see a lot. I mean, you're going from city to city to city to city, so that gets a little overwhelming. And even on tour, it's good to find the time to be able to get out and get into nature. So that's a really good way to sort of ground oneself and clear your head and be able to create. And ideas seem to flow a little better in that mind space. So yeah, we like to seclude ourselves a bit, and then in the end, it kind of turns out a bit like The Shining from time to time. Everybody loses their minds, and then
because we
move on to the next thing. We don't like.
We love that
to,
opportunity. Yeah, exactly. We love the opportunity to be able to kind of stretch out in our heads, but also we don't like to be in one place too long because that's how we pretty much grew up as adults. As soon as we left home, we didn't stop moving. So we're still kind of cursed in that way.
And now we're living in
fact, I'm bored right. Let's go.
I know, because we've got houses in and around Nashville. And a lot of people are asking us, what was the move from Frankenmuth, Michigan, this small town of there's like 6,000 people to Nashville, and it's sort of like, well, we haven't lived at home for 3.5, 4 years. It doesn't feel that obviously we've been going in and out of Nashville, so that was really strange.
I actually lived in Moose Jaw for 6 months.
Did you really?
Yeah.
No way.
No, he didn't.
Oh, I thought you were being serious. I'm like, wow, because there has been some rock stars that have lived in Moose Jaw.
I would say that's kind of like my favorite part of North America. Just everything from Montana up through and north.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You guys teamed up with who's the producer? Greg Kurstin, right?
Yes.
What a year for him, because also did Medicine at Midnight with Foo Fighters, right? So like, what a year. So why was that on your bucket list to produce with? Or you're like, hey, this guy's got a resume on him, let's team up with this dude?
No, I think we all liked the music he was producing,
because we're also huge Adele fans, and he writes and records with.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So, and of course he did the
McCartney
Egypt
record.
Station, right? McCartney record. That was cool. But it's sort of like, I think we liked what he was doing. We liked the musicality of a lot of those records, and so his name was at the top of the list. We met with him at his house. I think we were in town doing some shows. And we all got talking and immediately clicked. I think it was just his depth of musical history knowledge is like crazy. Of course, he's a multi-instrumentalist himself. So I think we were confident in that he knew what we were doing more technically when we were working in the studio. So he was he's great at sort of being the mediator as well. If there's some sort of, conflict, he'll come in, And and
he's so multifaceted as a producer. He can produce and work with a band that plays loud music, or
an artist.
or just an artist. But the full spectrum of sounds, and that's what we wanted to do for the Garden's Gate, and so that's what happened. And he was able to translate what we had to say the whole time.
Yeah, it's really good. I really like it.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Yeah,
and he's one of the funniest people I've ever met.
Really?
He's got a hell of a sense of humor.
See, it's always the guys working behind the scenes that got the greatest personalities. I'm telling you.
That's true. That's true.
Well, I got to wrap things up, but I want to ask you one more question. You guys are timeless, if I can say so myself. If you could pick this album up and release it in any year, past, present, future, would you release it in 2021? Would you release it in the 70s, 80s, maybe 100 years from now?
2021, I think, makes most sense. Yeah.
Yeah. That seems to be kind of...
Oh, maybe right after... Did they have records after the burning of the Library of Alexandria?
Oh, yeah, that would
probably
be good.
didn't. Did they have wax?
No, maybe like the 2nd or 3rd century BC.
Could you imagine? They'd be like, what is this?
Oh my god, yeah, it's sort of like looking up,
Yeah,
but shut that down here.
Yeah, I think it's fun to kind of imagine, like, if you could live in one kind of time, or it's a fun thing to kind of
fascinates me.
To think about that. However, we're all here for a reason, and we have a fight to fight here, and I think it's very important that we're living right now, right here, because we have a lot of stuff to talk about. We have a lot of things to deal with.
And, we have this eclectic genre of rock and roll that is ever changing, that needs to be picked up and sort of, I guess,
remolded.
Yeah, it's just sort of, people seem to reimagine, and sort of rock and roll just changes throughout time. So I guess there's that. But I mean, I think releasing this record now is great, because I'd like to see it in retrospect, is acting as a vehicle of hope to get people out of this pandemic situation and help them heal. So I think that it's a great time to put it out. Obviously, it's been postponed for some time. We wanted to put it out much earlier, but that makes sense now.
No, we're happy you guys released it in 2021. Much needed. It's nice to hear it on the airwaves, man. And Canada's loving it.